the metaphysics and science behind affirmations and meditations. Have you ever wondered why meditation and positive affirmations make you feel better? Not just spiritually, but physically and mentally too? Today, I'm sharing something truly amazing with you. How these simple practices actually change your brain in wonderful ways. When I was recovering from cancer in 1996, I discovered something life-changing. Our thoughts aren't just whispers in our minds. They're powerful forces that shape our reality. This isn't just spiritual wisdom, it is backed by solid science. As you will find, everything that I share on this channel to be backed by evidence-based science. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself. This incredible ability is called neuroplasticity. And in simple terms, it means your brain isn't fixed or hardwired after childhood as scientists once believed. It's actually flexible and adaptable through your entire life. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Think of it like this. Your thoughts are creating paths in your brain. The more you think certain thoughts, the stronger these paths become. You are not a helpless victim of your thoughts or your past. The science of neuroplasticity proves what I've been teaching for years. You do have the power to reshape your brain through conscious, intentional practices. When you meditate regularly or repeat positive affirmations, you're not just doing something that feels nice. You're actually changing the physical structure of your brain. Let me repeat that. You are actually changing the physical structure of your brain. Scientists have found that meditation increases gray matter in regions of the brain that are responsible for learning, memory, emotional regulation, self-awareness, and even compassion. One study from Harvard Medical School found that just 8 weeks of regular meditation caused measurable changes in the brain regions associated with memory, sense of self, empathy, and stress. Imagine that. In just 2 months, you can literally rebuild parts of your brain. Yes, there is a stress connection. Many of us don't realize how stress affects our health. Oh, sure, we know that stress can make us unhappy, can make us not feel well. However, we know that when one of the 5 foundations is out of alignment, especially our thinking, it starts a chain reaction. Stress triggers our fight or flight response, which is what we call our sympathetic nervous system. It floods our bodies with cortisol and adrenaline. This was helpful when our ancestors needed to escape predators, but today's chronic stress is harmful. It weakens our defense systems, disrupts sleep, affects digestion, and can even damage our hearts. There is good news though. Meditation directly counters this stress response. It activates our parasympathetic nervous system, what scientists call our rest and digest mode. This is when our bodies can heal and restore balance. The science behind affirmations. When you practice positive affirmations regularly, you're not just saying nice words. You're rewiring neural pathways. Brain scans show that self-affirmation activates the reward centers in your brain, which are the same areas that light up when you experience something pleasurable. Dr. David Creswell from Carnegie Mellon University found that self-affirmation activates regions of the brain that help us to process information about ourselves more positively. It's like giving your brain a new lens to see yourself through. If you are new to meditation or affirmations, start small. Remember, tiny, consistent steps create powerful change. You will find several different lengths of time in my playlist of affirmations that you can begin with. Another of my favorite beginner affirmations is simply 3 words. I am enough. These 3 words contain tremendous power when repeated with feeling, intention, and with belief. And as Louise Hay would always say, you don't have to believe it when you first start. That's why we do affirmations. You're planting seeds. The science confirms what spiritual teachers have known for centuries. We have the power to change our lives by changing our thoughts, and that's why we always say, what we think about, we bring about. Isn't it wonderful to know that both ancient wisdom and modern science agree on this powerful truth? The remarkable brain-changing power of meditation. A little bit deeper now into how meditation literally reshapes your brain. When you really understand this, you will be so much more empowered. Think about your brain like a garden. For years, scientists thought our brain gardens were pretty much set after childhood. Plant a few trees when you're young, and that's what you're stuck with. That's completely wrong. Your brain is actually creating new connections all the time. When you learn something new or practice a skill repeatedly, your brain physically changes. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, which we spoke of earlier, which again means that your brain is plastic-like or moldable, not fixed. Now, this is a story that blew my mind when I first heard it. Researchers studied London taxi drivers who had to memorize all the complicated streets of London. After years of driving, their hippocampus, which is the memory center of the brain, actually grew larger. Their brains physically changed because of what they were doing and thinking every day. Now, here's the exciting part. You don't have to drive a taxi in London to change your brain. Meditation does this too. When you sit quietly and focus your mind, several amazing things happen in your brain. First, your gray matter increases. Gray matter is where all your brain cells live that process information. More gray matter means better memory, more emotional control, and sharper thinking. Secondly, your amygdala shrinks. That's your brain's alarm system that triggers fear and stress. A smaller amygdala means you are calmer and less reactive. And thirdly, your prefrontal cortex gets stronger. That's your wise elder brain that makes good decisions and keeps you focused. Remember the study that showed that people who meditated for just 8 weeks had measurable brain changes? 8 weeks! That's less time than it takes to grow a garden, but they were growing new brain capacity. Your thoughts do create actual physical changes in your brain and your body. I always say your cells are listening. When you worry constantly, your body releases those stress hormones that weaken your immune system, what I call your defense system. When you meditate and use positive affirmations, you trigger healing responses in your body. Dr. Herbert Benson from Harvard Medical School discovered what he called the relaxation response, which is the opposite of our stress response. When we meditate, our bodies actually produce less inflammation. And now you know, if you've listened to me at any time, that inflammation can be connected to almost every dis-ease known to man. And it actually changes your genes because they get switched off or on, depending on your lifestyle. Isn't that amazing? Your meditation practice isn't just making you feel better momentarily, it's changing your genes. Words do have power, both the ones that others speak to us, as well as the ones we speak to ourselves. When you repeat positive affirmations, you're creating those new neural pathways in your brain, like carving a new path through a forest. The first time is difficult, but each time you walk that path, it gets clearer and stronger. Dr. Donald Hebb, a neuroscientist, explained it simply this way. Neurons that fire together wire together. I'm sure you've heard that one before. When you consistently think certain thoughts, those brain pathways do get stronger. In addition to the meditations that you find on my channel, I like sharing with beginners these simple affirmations, simple one-sentence affirmations, like, I am healing more and more each day. My body knows how to restore itself to perfect balance. I am surrounded by loving support. These aren't just nice sayings. When repeated with feeling and belief, they actually reshape your brain's expectations and responses. Many of you have heard me say that it was my lifestyle that saved my life. In March of 2022, When I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia and not expected by doctors to survive at all, looking back, it is without a doubt that all of the 5 foundations that I talk about came together to give me the ability to heal. And my meditations and affirmations that I had been doing for decades before came together to create my mentality while I was in the hospital. I had almost convinced myself that I was in a hotel. I mean, after all, my linen was being changed every day, my room was being cleaned, and I even had a vegan chef that would call me and ask what I would like for the day and for dinner. I know this sounds as though I'm making light of it. I promise you, this was the reality. Thinking well through meditation and manifestation of those thoughts through meditation has made it possible for me to maintain that uplifted spirit throughout the entire year and a half that I was in the hospital. I'll be sharing more about that at different times. I will be delving into how my lifestyle saved my life in other ways besides the mental part. Sometimes I feel like saying that the mental part is the most important part, and yet I know that each of those foundations of health is as important as the other. What fascinates me most is how modern science now is confirming what spiritual teachers have known for centuries. The body and the mind are deeply connected. I always say they are one, and our thoughts do shape our reality. When ancient wisdom meets modern science, we get the full picture of human potential. Quantum physics now suggests that consciousness itself affects the physical world, just like your brain affects your physical body, and that the observer changes what is observed. This means that you're not just a passive recipient of life, you are actively creating it through your thoughts, your beliefs, and your focus. Remember when I told you that you have infinite possibilities? This is why. Your brain is constantly evolving, and you get to direct that evolution through meditation and affirmations. You are not alone. I want you to know that when you begin this journey of meditation and affirmations, you are joining countless others who have discovered this path to healing. You are not alone. Your brain can change. Your body wants to heal, and you have within you, from birth, more wisdom than you can even imagine. Meditation and affirmations simply help you to access it. No, you are not a helpless victim. Your health is truly in your hands, and now you understand some of the science that proves it.